Hi, welcome to Live Right Tonight. I am your host, Brandi. Here I have Chief Berlin, the Chief of Roseville Police Department. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I was born and raised here in the city of Roseville.
Nice.
Graduated from Brandi High School. Went away to college. When I returned, I went to work for the here on Clinton Metro Parks as a police officer, then the Macomb County Sheriff's Office, then came back to Roseville, and I am in my 30th year here in Roseville.
Nice. So, what made you decide to come into the police force?
Well, you know, it sounds cliche, but the desire to help. You make a difference every day, whether big or little. Every difference you make is big to somebody. So it's a rewarding career. You know, people think you don't get paid for your job, you make a good living. You know, you may not be rich, but you are rich on everything in life that you need. You have.
Nice. So, with you being in the police force and living in Roseville, and then you knowing what we do for a living here at Live Right, now tell me, what is it that you see? What do you see strongly on the streets? Like, is it more drug addiction, drug related, or is it theft? What is it?
Well, it's a combination. You know,
Yeah.
you get the drug use. When people run out of money, they do sometimes turn to crime to facilitate getting the drugs. Then you have the theft. Then you have the assaults. You know, from people, strong arm robberies or drug deals gone bad. So drugs is a driving force for a lot of our crime in the city. We work hard to combat that, and then we also work hard to work with the offenders, people that have the addictions, the disorders, which is a new focus for us over the last few years. Prior to that, there was limited education for us.
Right. Now, with all that being said, what do you think that we can all do different to help more than what you see right now? Like, just with the society, our township, everything.
Well, it's a multi-pronged approach. You need education for the youth immediately to get them educated. Drugs are bad. Stay away from them. Get them educated young. We don't have the DARE program anymore, which I thought was a great program.
I remember DARE, and I was surprised that they ended that.
Yeah. So, and then when people do get addicted, they need immediate assistance, and the mental health crisis out there, and we need to work with them to keep them out of the system. And then, unfortunately, when they cross the line too far, they need to be accountable for their actions. So it's a multi-plateaued, multifaceted education. Get them the treatment they need and get them the help they need.
Okay. Now, one thing I do know is at your department, you guys have a pill dispensary thing. Can you tell me about that?
We have the drop box for pills.
Okay.
You can drop off 24/7 unused pills, unwanted pills to the drop box. We have a secure location outside our police department right on the curb. We pull up, drop it off. We actually have a National Drug Take Back Day coming up. I believe it's the 28th, where that's advertised by the Drug Enforcement Administration, and we'll take in a large quantity that day. Well, 24/7, 365 days a year, we'll accept them.
Okay. So when they drop it off, is there when they put it in that box, is there something that's killing it, or do you guys dispose it?
We take it, maintain it until the drug take back days.
Okay.
And then turn it over to the Drug Enforcement Administration, and they properly dispose of it.
Okay. And yeah, because I was wondering, because you never know, people in their addiction, they'll do anything.
Right.
And to try to come and take, what's in there or try to steal it or something like that, you never know. So that I was wondering if it just sits in there until that.
We empty it. It's a secure box.
Good.
It's steel, and it's bolted to the ground, and It's constructed so you can't reach your arm in, you
Good.
can't get inside the box, and that's also right outside the police department, which is under camera. So we've had no instances of anybody trying to get into the box or steal it. Plus, we empty it on a regular basis.
That's good. And when we were doing a tour, you also said that you guys have a Narcan machine at your facility?
Yes.
That's awesome.
We have Narcan in our lobby. I think it's been about 3 weeks now.
Okay.
And we have people come in and grab the Narcan. Our officers all carry Narcan. We're all trained in it. And we also participate with Hope Not Handcuffs and the quick response team. Every week we go out and try to get people back on the right track. We have officers trained in that, and they go out with members of FAN every week.
Okay. Now, for some of the viewers that are not familiar with Hope Not Handcuffs, they are, but they're not. They don't. The thing is a lot of people think that they have to be in jail in order to get into this. Now, can you explain directly, like, if I was an addict and I'm using, but I want to get clean. Now, if I came into your building and I was like, I'm a drug addict and I want to get clean, what would you guys do?
So we contact the angels from Hope Not Handcuffs. They send out the person on call, or however they have the order of who they're going to send out. That person is welcome to wait in our station. We provide them with whatever we can to make their, while they're waiting, comfortable. Then the angel responds. We give them a meeting room, resources while they're there, and then they get them into treatment, typically within a couple hours.
Okay. So, for a lot of the viewers that think that you have to be in jail or that you're going to go to jail for turning yourself in, you are hearing it from the chief that is not the case. They are here willing to help, and that's some of the stigma in this, in the world, that is like, oh no, they're just going to arrest you. They don't, and you being here and saying, no, we want to make sure that you're getting the help that you need, because they just like, oh, they don't care. You guys do, and the beauty of, we're working together too, and, we're trying to break the stigma. We had our softball game, which was really fun. I enjoyed that. You guys kicked their butt, but whatever.
It was a good game. It was a fun day.
It was. But, and that's basically the thing, is that what I'm trying to do is break the stigma of every aspect possible. And to know that you guys aren't the bad guys. The addiction is the bad guy. That is the one that's destroying everything. That is the one that is destroying people's mind, their life, their everything, and making you become a bad person to where you guys have to do your job. And that's the thing. A job is a job. My job here is podcasting. I'm doing my job. You, as, chief of police, you do your job. And that, and it sucks sometimes, because it's not like we want to ruin someone's life with having, putting them on paper and in the system, but that's what this disease does, is that it takes you to that level. And to know that, even if you're on the street and you want to get help, they can walk into your facility and be like, hey, I need help. And you guys are there to help. And that's amazing.
And breaking the stigma over the years has lessened, because officers have experienced it on the job and off the job.
Mm-hmm.
Narcotics and addiction are touching people in the police employment more and more on a personal side than it ever has. Mm-hmm. So when they're experiencing it personally, it makes them more understanding when they deal with it on the job. And the training we're receiving now is also much better in understanding addiction, what people need, and giving them the help, versus when I first started, there was no education, no considerations for addiction.
Right.
You broke the law, you got arrested. It went to the courts handled it, we did our job, we're done. Now we're getting trained, cross-trained in addiction, assisting, recovery, and enforcement. So there is a job, enforcement is part of our job. So when we have to enforce the laws and incarcerate somebody, we do it.
Right.
But we also are getting educated with the recovery and the disorders and the addiction.
Right.
So the stigma is less, gets less every day.
Right. And that's what we're trying to do. And, I feel like through COVID, that's when a lot of people are starting to realize a lot, because COVID, to my opinion, I think COVID did some damage. People were drinking more, using more. Like, I seen a lot more alcoholics. I seen a lot more addicts, and then hitting all the families, like you said, hitting people that work in your force. And, it doesn't matter if it's Roseville, Clinton Township, Utica, Sterling Heights, whatever, it hits, and it's understanding. And then it's like, wow, like having that, in your family, and then realizing it, and I think COVID did a good damage. But, having, people like you guys and people like us working together and trying to help and breaking everything and trying to get these people back on the right track. And, we only live one life, and this disease will live through the whole life with us. But to maintain it and live without it, because once you are in the addiction and into the disease, it never goes away. It's a fight every day, but every day it gets easier because you're learning how to maintain without it. And that's what we're here to do. And it's a lot, but we're here to do it. And 30 years. Sorry.
30 years.
I'm now thinking about 30 years? Man, I could.
30 years in Roseville, so I had a couple before that. So.
Wow. Now I have to ask, what was the most liberating moment in your career?
I don't even know.
Besides meeting me. No.
Right. There's so many highs of the job, so many lows. The key is the good outweighs the bad. The good stuff you do and the good stuff you see outweighs the death and despair that's out there in the world. So I don't think I could pick one event. There's some good events, some helping people, some good arrests, some crimes in progress that we help people. So I don't think there is one event that jumps out at me.
No. And now, are you still out in the field?
I get out here and there. I got promoted to chief probably 8 months ago. And prior to that, the deputy chief. So once I made deputy chief, I was assigned to the VA task force for over 15 years.
Okay.
So I worked out of downtown Detroit and throughout the country investigating narcotics and trafficking.
Oh, okay.
So I was gone for a long time. So I've been back primarily on the desk now the last 3-4 years.
Now, and I totally forgot about it until you just brought that up. I know that it was probably a couple years ago, there was actually trafficking through Roseville. Now, do you see a lot of that stuff? Or is it lessened?
No, years ago, everybody thought all the traffickers were in the city of Detroit. It was inclusive to just the city. That's where the traffickers were. People went to the city, picked up, and came out to the suburbs. It's so spread out now. You have traffickers living in every community. $1 million homes down to small, rundown homes. There's no boundaries. They're everywhere. We work cases throughout the entire state, up to Charlevoix, down to Detroit, down to Monroe, throughout the country. And it's amazing the different things people do to conceal. You know, we have people that get up in the morning, they act like they're going to work, they go out in traffic, narcotics all day, moving around, then come home at 6 o'clock religiously, like they left the home for work day, so the neighbors don't know. It's I don't want to say it's everywhere, but it's in every community. You know,
Yeah.
we have the bus line for, you know, low-level traffickers. You know, they used to nickname it the Heroin Express. And now there was numerous enforcement actions on the bus line, and there still is on the buses. So once you identify the traits of the traffickers, you're able to take enforcement action. But then the way they do things change, so we have to change with it and evolve with it. The currency, the bulk currency. Well, now you've got cryptocurrency and you got money cards, and so they change the way they move the money. So we got to change how we identify it. Same thing with narcotics, trapped out vehicles, the more elaborate traps. So it's ever evolving. You got to learn and try to keep up with it.
Right.
And you have to remain vigilant. Otherwise,
they'll catch up.
It'll take over the area.
Right.
You don't allow. We don't have a high crime area or a high drug trafficking area, because when we see something, we address it.
Right.
We don't let it sit. We go in and address it, whether it's through working with the management of an apartment complex, through collaboration or enforcement action. But we go address it immediately.
Okay. Good. That's good. Yeah, because I remember reading about it or seeing it on the news or something like that. And I was just like, I was actually like stunned. I was like, really? Because I knew it was happening in Detroit. That was one thing I heard, I knew, because I remember I went down there for my birthday and my dad was just like, you better be with a bunch of people and don't ever walk out on your own. And I'm like, why? And he's like, there's people grabbing people and trafficking, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, to me, it's something that you would see, like, out of country, because that was me. It was like watching something on TV, and it's like, oh my gosh, going to another country, and that's what they do. So it was like, to me, it was just like, oh wow, I'm like, that's happening here? I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't know if it's, there's different crimes every day.
Right.
But every police department in the area works hard. And luckily in the city of Roseville, we have the resources from our city council and our mayor to combat whatever types of crime. Plus, they allow us to get involved in, programs like today and the softball game, and taking officers off the street to participate in the Break the Stigma game. So we're fortunate that we're allowed to participate with community outreach as well as enforcement, so people understand our role. We're not just the warriors coming in and with the leather gloves and the nightsticks. We're also the guardians. When we come in, we're very pleasant, we're very understanding, we're patient, and then we are equipped to take enforcement when we need to.
Right.
So that's the difference, I think, as we've evolved over the years, that we understand, and we're more understanding, more patient, and empathetic with people. And empathy is probably the best trait, for a police officer. You got to put yourself in their shoes and try to help them. You can't, lock everybody up and throw away a key, because it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help us. Doesn't help our community. So empathy is the key to working with people and giving them the benefit of the doubt when they need it. So we try to instill that, teach it. Know when to take enforcement action and know when to be empathetic and cut somebody a break or assist them, whether it's a ride or, a lot of officers are very generous in giving, whether it's giving people a few dollars to help them out, or buying them food or shoes, clothes. We've had several officers take it upon themselves, fix bicycles. People's houses have gotten broken into and the windows broken. They don't know how they're going to fix them. Officers go out there in their own time and fix them and pay for it and stuff. It's impressive when you see that. They care about the community. They're glad to be here, glad to work here, and makes you feel good to be part of Roseville.
Absolutely. Now, with you guys doing so much and going through so much and having to empathize with people of what they go through as well. You guys take in a lot. Now, is there like some kind of help for you guys? Because that's a lot to take in, because you're not even, that's just work. That's not even also, you got a home. You have what's going on when you take off that vest and when you take off that badge. You have other, like, you have your life. Now, do you guys supply, like, therapy and everything else like that? Because that has to be a lot to, hold on your chest.
So just in the last couple of years, we put an emphasis on mental wellness for our officers.
Okay.
If we have a major critical incident, we have critical incident debriefing now, which is new to the department. We have a counselor that we utilized that officers have gone to on their own or been sent after a major incident for one-on-one counseling. We do the group critical incident debriefs. And the great thing about it is they don't tell us, like the police administration, what they talk about or...
That's good. It's confidential.
It is. And
That's good.
And they keep it that way, and we like it. And it helps the officer know that the administration is not going to know their personal business or what they're struggling with.
Right.
We just know that they're good to come back to work, they're progressing, or if they are off for a bit, that they're getting the care they need until they're ready to rejoin the department, come back to work. So it's great. In the critical incident debrief, the last major incident, we don't attend. So it's not like everybody involved is there, plus the chief of police. No, it's just the officers that are involved. So they have a free, open dialogue with the psychologist, and it's wide open. So there's not like rank in the room. So having the chief sit there all the time, sometimes that stymies communication. So
right.
Not being there lets them talk freely, and and then you realize when the bond they all share from the incident, it makes them stronger.
Yeah.
And the term stigma, the old days, if you sought help as a police officer, it was a sign of weakness. I think that stigma's gone or very, very reduced.
It shows strength to me to admit something.
Yeah, you need help. Sometimes you need help, and how to cope. You need to cope. You got to have coping mechanisms. You got to be able to understand that you need to get away from the job sometimes, whether it be through travel or family, pets. You got to have some kind of coping mechanism that makes you feel good, because you do have rough days.
Right.
No doubt about it. And the better you understand it, and the better you can cope with it and understand the potential of the damage to your mental wellness from events, the more you know going into it, how to cope with it and address it, it only helps you. And we have our doctor now is putting together a mental wellness program for the entire department.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we got approval for that, and we're just waiting on the final program. We've also established a critical incident team that is now they can handle the mental illness response on the street as well as peer-to-peer.
Nice.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So
that's good.
It's a widening area for law enforcement.
That's good, because you need to keep them sane as well, because it's a lot, because you're not just doing your job, you're doing your job and taking, situations, like if I was in distress or something, you're taking what's going on with me and you're carrying it, and that's a lot. That's a lot for one person, because if the one person's already stressed out about it and you're taking it off of them, and you have your own, so that's good that you guys have all that. I will not keep you much longer, because I know that you are working and you're an important man. So I don't want anybody getting mad at me like, oh, you kept our chief a little too long there, girl.
We got plenty of time.
But I do want to say thank you so much for coming in and doing this podcast with me and allowing, people to see that, there's all different sides in, doing what you all do, and that you guys are here to help, and you're not here to sit there and just, slap the cuffs on somebody and just be like, oh, you're a criminal, or you're garbage and I'm just going to lock you up. That you guys are out here wanting to help and see a better life and, light in someone, instead of these streets, because you know this addiction is just it's dreadful. You know, it takes your life. It takes your life away from family, friends, everything. And to know that you guys are, you know, sympathetic and understanding and willing to help, you know, shows a lot of people that don't sit there and see the good side to know that there is a good side. That, you know, so I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Our pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there
thank you.
any kind advice that you can give somebody
No,
right
you
now?
know, if you see an officer, take time to engage him. Say hello. You'll be surprised. You know, if you do have apprehension against the police, you'll be surprised at how outgoing they are and how understanding. And a lot of these officers are so charismatic. You know, when they can handle a situation so well and make everything right, make everybody feel good before they leave the room. So just take time to enjoy. We work for you, you know. So we're out here to make it a better place, and we're not out here to create conflict. We're there to solve it and mediate it and keep everybody happy and safe. So
Absolutely.
Every day we work towards common goals. We all want peace and tranquility, and it makes our job easier when we get it. So it's a lot easier to de-escalate a situation than to arrest somebody or
Right.
have a use of force encounter. So the officers are all trained in that, and you know, a lot of these officers coming in the training is always good. We stress the training, but some of these officers are so good at de-escalating that they can talk to people and relate with them and keep everybody calm and settle the situation without any kind of increased conflict. So it's very impressive to watch them work out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So like you said, if you guys see an officer out there, stop and say hi, because you never know, you know? Could it end up with a great conversation? Or they could just be having a bad day, and just a friendly hello could make their day a lot easier. You know, because again, they are human beings. You know, just because they're wearing a badge doesn't mean they're robots. They are human beings. And, you know, I've met so many of you guys, and you guys are all been so nice, funny, and, you know, I've got good relationships out of a lot of you guys, and I enjoy the company, you know. So, again, I just want to say thank you. Had the privilege to have you here,
Thanks
show
for
you
having me.
around.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. To everybody else, I hope you enjoyed it, and you all have a blessed day.
Have a good day.